Well, one, I have to say, I'm going to everything, but I've got no fucking idea why this song's called Super Breath. But anyway. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles. My name's John. His name's Andy. I am not the counting count. However, I'll protect you from the hooded claw. Keep the vampires from your door. More on that later. But first, Andy, what have you got in store for all the people today?
I have something that's still quite warm off the press. And it's meaning that it was just recently released, I think within a month from recording this a month ago. And it's by two artists that you are familiar with to this point. One for sure, and the other one I've introduced to you, so I'm quite certain of that as well.
It's not Robson and Jerome, is it?
No.
You wouldn't even know who that is. Sorry.
No, I wouldn't.
British. Terrible joke. Ignore it. Move on. Nothing happened.
The British Hall of Oates. What are we working with here? So this is...
I'll inform you another time of who they
are. All right,
You'll be sorry.
So this is a collaboration between Karen O of Yeah Yeah Yeah's fame and Danger Mouse, who we've listened to quite a bit on this channel, and you're familiar with. And the track is called Super Breath. And I'd like to give this a listen. I know that you're a fan of Karen O, if I'm not mistaken, and you've really grown to enjoy the collaborations and music and drumming and production that you've heard from Danger Mouse. So here's a chance to listen to them collaborating, and you can let us know what you think.
Okay, will do.
Excellent.
Nice start. I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me, it's like a Motown-y feel. Perhaps slow down a little bit, but yeah. I like the little sort of drum finishes at the end of the phrase as well, and the tinging of the cymbal. Cool. That sounded good. Yeah, it sort of went up a notch, didn't it? You had that sort of stabbing organ. Sounded even more Motown-y, to be fair to you. Her voice sounds great. From what I'm familiar with, the more early part of Yeah Yeah Yeahs. So I'm listening to anything she's done in the last probably 10 years. So for me, her voice sounds closer and more intimate and less fucked around with, filters on, whatever. Always sounds great, don't get me wrong, but here it just sounds more intimate. Yeah, it's cool. That huge piano chord sounded great. Let me just also the way she was singing, actually, when she was singing that first verse, her delivery was kind of a little bit skippy, rather than, which was kind of matching the keyboard. It was doing that sort of those notes, and again it was all skipping along, rather than it's just smooth delivery, which is interesting. Right, that's where I am. Let's just bring this back a little bit. Lovely beat. So you've got like three levels of this song. So you've got the starty bit, which is kind of almost tippy toey, and then it ramps up a level to the sort of stabbing organs, a bit more, sound, and then we get, I think that was a chorus with the piano sort of power chords. Really nice that bit there. So you don't need to like that feeling. That's a red flag. Well, I love the way she then sang "Run Over, Run Over, Run Over" because they're sort of running over each other, which is a little sort of joke inside a joke, as it were. And that sounds really retro as well. And I can't immediately think of what, but it reminds me of something. It just sounds really nice. Let's just go back a wee bit.
You don't need to like that feeling. You don't need to like that feeling. You don't need to like
I'm loving the drums as well.
run over, run over, run over, run over. All is right. No, you know I'm not satisfied. No, 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 but you keep on coming back. All is right. No, you know I'm not satisfied. No, but I keep on coming back. You don't need to like that feeling. You don't need to like that feeling.
Coolio. Yeah, this is the really nice. It had like a retro feel to it. It's very cool. Really nice production because there's lots of detail in there about lots of clarity as well. Um, I remember your man, Mr. Mouse, definitely played drums on Broken Bell, so hopefully that was him doing that there. The drums sounded really nice. They were kind of a little bit jazzy, kind of loose, but still, you know, in there. Really, really engaging drums. And the whole sound had this, I say, this kind of almost Motown-y sort of 60s R&B feel to it. Um, yeah, really interesting. Lots of red flags there in the lyrics of what I caught. But it sounds like a unfulfilled love or a sort of disconnected relationship. But couldn't hear, I didn't get all the lyrics, obviously, but I couldn't hear anything that was like an obstacle to our love. It was more like this relationship isn't great. Um, yeah, yeah, not healthy. But there you go. It's a little sort of little eerie to it, and the way she delivered it as well. But what do I know? Um, I know someone who does, and that would be Monsieur Andy. So let's get back and chat with him and find out what it's all about.
All right, you're back. So, what did you feel about Super Breath, this tune by Karen O and Danger Mouse?
Well, one I have to say, I'm going to everything, but I've got no fucking idea why this song's called Super Breath. But anyway, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I will say, I think I was touching this before, but I think I reckon, I'm not sure, but I reckon I became aware of Danger Mouse was his work with Sparkle Horse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I might have heard him before then, and I've definitely heard him since. And perhaps I've heard stuff he's produced and not been aware that it's him.
Mm,
You know, but so that's why I was so surprised and chuffed to see him behind the sticks. With Broken Bells. So I was like, oh,
right.
that's Danger Mouse. But yeah, he's a hell of a producer, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jeez. So this song really interesting. Starts off with, I have to say, it's like a slowed down Motown beat.
Mm-hmm.
And you get
I can
this
see
sort
that.
of tiptoeing keyboard part as well. So I really like the way he's using the cymbal almost as like a click track. And then you get this like I call it a drum tumble. So like a mini fill at the end of each phrase, and it's it's in there. I'm presuming it's him behind the sticks.
Yeah.
I hope so. Anyway, Miss O joins in, sounding very much like Karen Ho, which is handy. But I'm more familiar with her the earlier part of it's the first 3 albums, really. So this sounds a lot closer, a more intimate version of her voice than I'm used to. It's not quite got the harshness or the other filters that you get, particularly with Food to Tell. Not that I don't enjoy that, but this was different, and I enjoyed this as well. And she delivers the lines, particularly the first verse, in the manner sort of matching the cadence and the rhythm of the keys, and the words are almost like skimming stones, just going across the surface of the song, which I thought was really interesting. And then she hits the line, "Either way, we'll have our fun," and then comes this Hammond organ, and it's more than just a glance to that sort of 60s R&B genre. I realized later on that this song is like 3 levels. So you get what I call tiptoey level, and then you get the sort of stabbing organ level, and then you get the full on whole lot. And it does that a couple of times throughout the song, keeps going between the other. Very interesting. So as I said before, I remember Mr. Mouse playing drums, and I assume he's on duty here. And this was definitely a move from Yellow to Amber Alert. But his drumming had a lovely sort of loose jazzy feel to it as well. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
And nothing showy, but I just really enjoyed the drums all the way through.
It's just the right amount of shuffle movement to those drums, and I really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, definitely. She sings a little couplet, "If our love is right, because I'm not satisfied," which is interesting. And it's held in at this point, level 3, which is the massive piano chords that sort of fill out the whole track, and the rest of the music lifts up as well to bring it out. So what I presumed was a chorus. The whole thing grows in stature, and she's like making this is like the statement of their unresolved relationship, I think, at this point. But she says the line, "But I keep I think something like, I keep coming back." I'm sure it says that line. But anyway, then there's this nice musical interlude with a pissed around guitar, I believe, for about 20 seconds, before we drop back down into tiptoe mode for the next verse. The words are skimming over me at this point because I'm really enjoying all the rest of the stuff. Then we go back into Motown mode with this lovely background organ, as well as the stabbing one as well. For her, says something about, "You don't need to like that feeling," but she repeats a number of times. And this really doesn't sound like a healthy approach to me. And then this is quite funny. She then sings the words "run over" again and again, but it's almost like a joke with the drum, because the words run over each other. But that bit which you run over, it's just, that reminds me of something which I still cannot put my finger on, but it's quite a familiar sort of sound. If it was slightly different words, I'd like ping, I'd get it straight away. Don't know what it is, but really enjoyable. If a little tinge eeriness to this relationship song, it's just like, okay. Back to what I definitely think now is a chorus, with these piano chords and the guitar cameo, and we end with this like tippy toe, back to the tippy toe style, and Cam repeating, "You don't need to like that feeling," which she seems to be singing from the bottom of an empty water butt at this point. I don't know why. I have to say, the song, production, top quality. What's really nice is there's detail but clarity as well. So there's a lot of stuff in there, but you're hearing what he wants you to hear, every element. It sounds retro and modern at the same time. She sounds great also. The song kind of lulls you in, but it also at the same time is somewhat unnerving. And if I caught more lyrics, probably even more unnerving. But to me, this sense of like unfulfilled love comes from the relationship itself, rather than any outside obstacles. She's not saying I can't do this because they won't let me, or
Mm.
you're married to, or my boss, or we live on opposites. It's more like we get together and it doesn't work. So yeah, if I was the other person of this, I would pedal away from this as fast as my rally chopper could take me. It does not sound good at all. But the song I really enjoyed.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did. When I first heard it just a few weeks ago, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to get this on the channel at some point soon. So glad you liked it. Glad I agree with a lot of what you said. The guitar part for me, I loved. I loved the production of it. I loved how it was just sort of pushed a little bit to the back. Just the balance of it all.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
It's choices, isn't it? Production is choices, and
Yeah, which
this guy makes the right
again
ones.
totally underscores the wild talent that is Danger Mouse when it comes to producing. And goddamn, it's just so good. And Karen's voice was gorgeous in this, and it was a lovely departure from how we all came to know her voice.
Yeah,
And it also does a really good job of separating uh, who she is and how she presents herself in Yeah Yeah Yeahs to this other side of her when she's doing
yeah,
solo stuff or collaborative stuff, because you don't want it to just sound like another Yeah Yeah Yeahs album. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you do that? So
definitely.
she's great. She does a really good job of showing us another side or dimension to her voice and her musicianship and all of it. It's just really, really good. Um, so yeah, let me hop into the notes here. Karen Lee Orzelek, born November 22nd, 1978, is a South Korean-born American singer, musician, and songwriter. She's the lead vocalist of the indie rock band Yeah Yeah Yeahs, as we've said. Brian Joseph Burton, born July 29th, 1977, known professionally as Danger Mouse, is an American musician and record producer. He came to prominence in 2004 when he released the Gray album, which combined the vocal performances from Jay-Z's The Black album with the instrumentals from the Beatles' White album. So interesting. That was like sort of what his launching pad was. In 2008, Esquire magazine named him one of the 75 most influential people of the 21st century. And honestly, I know that sounds like, huh? Go look at how many different artists he's recorded with and produced. It is insane, and it crosses so many different genres. And all of those artists had a lot of success on the projects that he worked on. So he's kind of one of these people that just kind of flies under the radar because he's not the face of a band or a movement. He's just this great producer. He's also one half of the duo known as Gnarls Barkley, and is the drummer and co-founder of the band Broken Bells. He collaborated with James Mercer of the Shins to form that band. We've covered a couple of their tracks. Danger Mouse has also participated in countless collaborations with artists from several different genres, as I just mentioned. And the duo of O and Danger Mouse released a 9-track LP entitled Lux Prima back in 2019, which was received very well by critics and fans alike, having been nominated for a Grammy that year. With Lux Prima, the duo craft sprawling, soulful, and cinematic psych rock, 1960s orchestral pop, and the packed and dusty sounds of the 1990s trip hop. And other styles featured include disco, funk, soul, lounge pop. Really good album. If you haven't checked that out, I might have to bring another track off that to the channel. So according to Rolling Stone's Brittany Spanos, Lux Prima conjoins Karen O's rough around the edges heaviness and Danger Mouse's stargazing atmospheric production to create a lush journey down the Milky Way of their rock and roll sensibilities. The Guardian called it complex and lingering, praising Karen O's songwriting in particular. And our beloved Pitchfork also praised the album, recognizing Karen O and Danger Mouse had concocted a lush, vivid world on their dreamy and poignant collaboration. The album was described by GQ as a cinematic journey through the outer reaches of the cosmos and the inner reaches of the artists themselves. AllMusic, the Irish Times, and Rolling Stone awarded it 4 out of 5 stars. Music OMH gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and Consequence graded it a B+ album, while DIY gave it a perfect score. So now the two are back to collaborating. I know you were probably thinking, you said this was warm off the press, and that album you're alluding to is from 2019. Well, They're back to collaborating 5 years later with this track Super Breath, which will be featured on the reissue of Lux Prima that is due to release on September
Right.
20th. So, not very far away. This thing will officially be released. And September's reissue of Lux Prima arrives with a 7-inch of Super Breath on the A side and a cover of Lou Reed's Perfect Day on the B side. The reissue will also have a 16-page booklet highlighting the 4-day communal listening experience called Encounter with Lux Prima that the duo hosted in Los Angeles's Marciano Arts Foundation. Also worth noting, Super Breath features samples from the 2012 Tom Northcutt recording Who Planted Thorns in Miss Alice's Garden. So, interesting. I'm not actually familiar with that, but it makes me want to go listen to it, given how much I enjoyed this track. Let's jump into these lyrics. I left a light on all last night for you to see. Tears left my eyes. You saw them dry. That's what you see. Either way, we'll have our fun and we'll let it go. Either way, we'll have our fun, but we'll never know. No, no. It's our If our love is right, because you know I'm not satisfied. No, 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 I'm not. But you keep on coming up. Our love is right, but you know I'm not satisfied. No, 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 I'm not. But I keep on coming back. No need to hide like what's inside. Quit playing cool, push me aside. I die each time. I'm not your fool. You don't need to like that feeling. You don't need to like that feeling. You don't need to like that feeling. Run over, run over, run over, run over. Our love is right, but you know I'm not satisfied. No, 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 I'm not. But you keep on coming up. Our love is right, but you know I'm not satisfied. No, 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 I'm not. But I keep on coming back. You don't need to like that feeling. You don't need to like that feeling. So yeah, opening with a pulsing bass line combined with a chilling synth melody. O sings, quit playing cool, push me aside, I die each time, I'm not your fool. Lyrically, Super Breath delves into themes of resilience and empowerment. It's a raw, emotionally charged song that explores the complexities of a troubled relationship characterized by unfulfilled desires and a constant yearning for more. Yeah, this was a really pretty song, but it's interesting the kind of I don't know if it's overt necessarily, but the underlying sort of toxicity of this relationship and whatever.
Just
'Cause
red flag,
like you,
red flag, red
yeah,
flag.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's not overt and like, oh yeah, you hit me, or we always bicker, but it's like there's something. If the loving's good, what does that mean exactly? Like the love making, but every other aspect is not. That's not a good reason to stay in a relationship. Your heart needs to be fulfilled just as much as anything else, if not actually more. So this lack of being satisfied by the narrator is enough to give you pause and, like you said, kind of run for the hills if you find yourself in a similar situation. But yeah, hauntingly beautiful sound to it, almost to the point where it is a little uneasy or there's some tension in there, like you had mentioned. But there's also just, I think, saturated in beauty. Love the shuffly kind of lounge jazz drums. The way the production complements that, it all has this kind of almost smoke-filled room vibe to it. Yeah, very good stuff. I'm gonna have to maybe go back to this album that this is going to be released with and pick one of the tracks off that. I'm also interested to scope out that Lou Reed cover. I think that'll be cool to check out. No, what was that face expressing there?
Well, many years ago, oh my God, well over 25 years ago, more, the BBC used to do these amazing like self-commercials, which they play. And they were like convincing themselves. And one this time they did cover of Perfect Day. But they had a different artist sing every different line.
Oh,
And you had an opera singer, you had this, that, and the other, you had Boyzone, you had all sorts. I think Shane McGowan sung a line as well.
oh wow.
And it finishes with Lou Reed singing, I'm glad I spent it with you. And
Yeah.
it's just so emotional and amazing. It's the best ever version of Perfect Day, and anything else, I'm sorry, but would pale into significance for anyone who's seen that before.
Ah, okay. So you can't get
It's been
it's
perfect day has
really
been completed. It's
yeah,
been
yeah, yeah,
completed.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
they don't know that.
Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for giving this a listen. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Any excuse to get either Karen O or Danger Mouse on the channel is enough for me to want to bring something to you. So yeah, glad you enjoyed it. Folks out there in the listening audience, let us know what you thought of this collaborative track between these two really bright stars in the music industry. What you thought of the track Super Breath. All that out of the way, please like, share, and subscribe if you'd be so inclined. It really helps us gin up the numbers, bring new voices and ears to the channel. So thank you so much in advance for that. All that out of the way. Again, hopefully John and I will see all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audio Files. We'll see you later, guys.